Episode 91, folks. Inside the Rapper Studio. Fresh set of weeks. Fresh set of week. What the fuck kind of drugs am I on? Fresh week. Fresh set of interviews. Fresh set of episodes. Of course, we got the guests already in the building. You can join in. I gotta give a few updates for everybody that's joining in live. For Score Swayze Saturdays, this past Saturday was the premiere of the special between Inside the Rapper Studio and Working Title Podcast. That was pretty fun. I really enjoyed that. That was really nice. Huge shouts out to the guys at Working Title, as always, for all the hard work that they do. This Saturday, for Score Swayze Saturdays, is going to be the world premiere of Love, a double feature. Really excited for this one. Nice little two-part project. First part's the EP, second part's the secret album. If you buy it on Bandcamp, that is. Really good things going on. Next week after that, we got the wonderful finale. Yes, I know, finale of Inside the Rapper Studio. I know it's bad, all that stuff. I don't care. But I'm tired. I'm on 91 episodes? You think I'm not fucking exhausted? I'm pretty fucking exhausted. But show on the road. Huge shouts out to everybody that's on the live. Huge shouts out to everybody that's been supporting so far. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
All right, let's get this little baby started. Episode 91 of Inside the Rapper Studio. Of course, I'm your host, Score Swayze, and today we have a very special guest in the building today. Shouts out to Malui. It will end at 100. That was my goal, and thank God I'm even at the goal. But we have a very special guest in the building. Some would consider people being a day one. I consider him a day zero. Where the logo wasn't here, these tattoos, these glasses, none of this shit that was going on was. So you can legitimately say this is the day zero. Media extraordinary, does well with podcasts, works within radio, works within hip hop, an excellent rapper. Even has his own show on YouTube called Rise with Freeze. Very talented and very multifaceted man here. So I need everybody to drop hearts, drop likes, drop comments for the one, the only, Karlito Freeze.
My big dog. I appreciate the intro, yo. Much love, bro. Much love. Give me, shake my hand. My guy. What's the deal? How you?
I'm good, man. Every day I wake up is a goddamn blessing. How you feeling, brother?
I'm cool, man. I'm really just cooling in the cut, you know what I mean? Just enjoying, the paradise that's called Owens Mills, you know? You know what I mean? So, it's all gravy, man.
With every episode of Inside the Rapper Studio, there is an origin story told from the bottom of the screen. So could you tell us all how everything got started for the artist we all know and love as Karlito Freeze?
Man, just one of those kids that love hip-hop, connected to the music. It was in, the neighborhood, the community. It was, you relate to it and you want to do something in it. It's that's really the foundation, you know what I mean? First time I ever really laid something down probably was like my sophomore year of high school before I even knew a whole lot of y'all niggas. So like, it was just starting from that and then just kind of being like 16, 17 and trying to learn the business side and trying to learn about, who was pulling the strings and all that. Because I always had like older people around me that kind of knew a little bit about music. So they tell me about like Quincy Jones and, Barry Gordy, Barry Wise. So, I wasn't saying their names in Circuit City under rap music, you dig? So I was just trying, learn a little bit like that, you know what I mean? And that really ultimately helped how my grind kind of, came about.
Got you. Not a lot of people within those early stages of hip hop really jump inside because you're just like, oh, I like those stars, I like those like glistening money and gold and all that.
I love that shit too, though.
But not a lot of people realize that in order to get that, you have to learn the business. So what inspired you to kind of get a head start on learning the business?
Just because besides like a thirst for the information, just honestly like seeing how artists fell off. You know what I mean? Like when I'm 7, 8 years old, it's Heartbreak Hotel, Whitney Houston, couple years later, everybody calling her a crackhead and ridiculing her, saying she broke, saying Rick James. You know what I'm saying? So, and they are bigger than their numbers were bigger than rappers in those days. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing them at that magnitude, being just it's like that. You know what I mean? But the people who pull those strings keep making the money if they own, you know. So it's like it just kind of pushed me to like know where if my music or my material stops like having huge traction, it can just be like, you know, even level, then I could still be okay. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have to wait till like a hip hop honors just to get some credibility because they picked my name out the hat this year because, you know, Big Daddy Kane can't make it. I don't want that shit. You dig? So, you know.
I understand that. Like, especially with how the game is kind of being ran right now, like 2020, where legitimately all the rules are out the fucking window and
Yeah.
chaos right now.
Yeah, it's a Wild Wild West.
What would you say is the, I guess, main difference between what you've been going through in your early career instead of like where you are now in 2020? Because like
Yeah.
almost games.
Yeah, when I was younger, like, and first was like interested and really was looking around, like, probably like being like maybe 13ish, 14ish, and it seemed like everything was still stuck on regional. So like you had to be cool with this DJ, and he had to, you know, approve, co-sign you for other DJs to spin you because all them niggas click up. You know what I mean? Like, and once you see the politics of like local music, you know what I mean? Especially in a city where it's not a flow of artists mainstream level. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how Comp got on Def Jam Vendetta and shit. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is still. Yeah.
I never. That's probably one of the biggest mysteries in hip hop, my nigga.
Yeah. I'm gonna look that nigga manager up and interview him. I'm gonna send him to you.
Because like that information is very vital. Like
Yeah.
I heard Comp and like do something. It was like, all right, you know, Baltimore rapper. This
Mm-hmm.
Rap Attack is Sunday night. I'm bound to hear some shit like this. You know. So Run, the remix for Run was Ghostface. I'm like, oh, so some actually shit is going down with him.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And and on
Had to pay
top of
the
that,
mm-hmm.
he had enough rank to even be put in like Def Jam Fight for New York.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
clearly there's a way, if there is a will for Baltimore rappers, Comp shows that there's a way. So what would you say
Absolutely.
that you learned from like those early legends within Baltimore, such as your Comps, your Boss
Um,
Man?
I learned that, you know what I mean, you didn't need to move like them. You needed to move like who I was fucking with. Because I fucked with Jim Jones since I was 14 years old. Because he taught that independent shit. Fuck with Slim Thug. Y'all niggas got to move like them. These niggas sell 300,000 units in 7 months and they got Bentleys and shit. Y'all still down Jimmy's. You dig? And it's not even ridiculing people, but it's just like, yo, stop taking these deals for the name's sake. Because these niggas is just producing beats or getting you beats and, you know, manufacturing your shit and seeing that the label fuck with it. Like, it's those dreams don't always happen like that. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you don't got to really know nobody. So it's just was a lack of education, you know what I mean? And then because the local scene here is like was more club and house party back then, it was really club and you know what I mean? It was different. A lot of niggas ain't capitalized on that club mix sound further than the DJs who was fucking with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's very true. Like I feel like in those early whereas though like you would see those big posters up from Profit Productions or you would see like big posters for like 5 seasons and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
The shit was booming.
like everything just went completely digital and
Yeah.
there's like this shift in power. Whereas
Yeah.
all that power that was in 5 seasons somehow
Mm-hmm.
split in two.
Yeah.
Where so you had that one side that's completely DTLR and like
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, the urban shit crafted to commercial. And then you got like the quote unquote underground scene. But,
exactly.
yeah, but that underground scene isn't really underground scene because there's like a million different groups and shit. It's the bass niggas over here, shout my dog Skinny and certain niggas, Dutchy and them. It's the cool niggas, it's the rapidy rap niggas, it's the niggas that do their own thing. But it just, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's cool though. You know what I mean? But like, I think personally, bro, like the shift happened after Ravens won this recent Super Bowl.
Hmm.
And like that was at 2013, and I just like, yo, it's gonna be more commercial money. It's gonna be a lot more advertising coming to the city, and like that's what helped this music shit advertising. Like, so like maybe 2 years later, you start seeing like the growth of Moose. Then you see Scooter start to pick up his recognition and shit. And like they was slowly booming like 2014, 15, and 16. They no, not yeah, 14, 15, and 16. You know what I mean? So it just it played into how the city was growing. You know what I'm saying? It really played into how the city grew, and the shift, the street music, and just the vibe, the energy, niggas singing with straps like little Chicago niggas, like it's booming now. It's the Y out here, like it's Amsterdam. You know what I mean? But the music is always reflective of what's going on when it's from the hood or when it's street music. So, you know, until they fix that shit, it's always gonna be this shit.
That's true. I feel like if there is no fixing it, then it just becomes the reality of it. But I
Mhm.
so when it comes to like just having that one plain, I guess monolith of Baltimore hip hop, some
Mhm.
get like X'd out of it. Where I said there was like the two sides of the
Mhm.
scene, whereas though you had the DTLR side, but the art like the RT underground side isn't really that well represented within the media.
Yeah.
So a person that works within radio, that works within media, do you
Yeah.
like an explanation of that, or is it just straight up
Definitely.
politics?
All right. So I can tell you this. Like when I first started internet radio in 2015, like it was the quote unquote parent company to what I had Strongly under a year after, but it started as a radio show. So I learned for about a year or so, 2 years, I kind of learned what those politics were. But after the riots, the art scene and the local music scene kind of boomed here. 2015. That was around the time I started internet radio. So I fortunately was a part of a new wave and a new shift of just like different opinions, different collectives taking over this idea of a platform. Um, in the internet radio world, you can like maneuver and have the look for social media and you can grow your name, but the platform doesn't have any satellite waves, anything that can connect you really to Seattle, Washington, or connect you to GMC terrain that's in, you know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't exist. So you're running a risk with that. But I've actually professionally worked in FM radio for the last 3 years. They, laid us off unemployment. But I learned that you have to have relationships to where you can talk to a program director, and if you have enough uh, energy behind your music and enough people that listen to it in a certain region, it'll play. And that's for FM radio. XM is maybe somewhat different, but I don't know because it's the politics are different. But FM radio, you definitely just have to have a manager or have enough energy to where you can have a conversation with a program director, and they could put advertisements next to whatever single you have. And it just is what it is.
Hmm.
That's why honestly a lot of times in the late '90s you had like "Wanna Be a Baller," you had like all the E40 records, you had just all those independent records that was working in those regions because those regions loved it. So a lot of times they could go gold and be kings over there because they ain't really got to go to New York. They ain't got to go to Seattle. I'm not Seattle, Memphis, but the music could travel. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made certain labels like Cash Money grow because they had different coasts, different people that was fucking with their stuff. So it's those were really the golden days. Like, like it ain't like that no more. But it is as far as like the connection and how people fuck with your shit. But the days of like really selling your hard copies and really like getting your underground vibe on, like it's hella different. Like,
That's
mm.
very true. You actually spoke on two things that I want to talk about within this interview. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that you spoke on is Strongway. I wanted to
Absolutely.
I wanted you to explain the origin of Strongway to
Mm-hmm.
the audience and what inspired you to go within that realm of media.
Absolutely. So like fall 2016, uh, I was doing a lot, and it was like maybe around September when I first really started the show. I had blueprinted like the little bubble and then connect different things to it, connect different branches or whatever you have you. And I wanted to run it like an actual enterprise because shout out to my big dog Mitch, my civil attorney. He showed me Puffy's website, and he run his site like an enterprise. So it's whatever his brand is, there's different things attached to it. Revolt, his Bad Boy, The Water, and what it does is he works in one office and all those businesses are run, and that's how I looked at how I needed the blueprint when I went. So I wanted to start a business called Strongway Lifestyle, and add Strongway Radio. Uh, Sooner or later, I did Strongway Hex, and I did my own sedan service for about 9 months straight and made my own money. Strongway Digital, doing flyers and doing business cards and stuff, and I still do little stuff to this day. So I still utilize it in that business mind. I just ain't paid them LLC people after the first year. You dig? So
Got you. So with the early beginnings and having that role model to kind of model the business after, what was it like having someone to model the business after? Because not a lot of people can even say that they had someone
yeah,
to model something over, whereas those
yeah.
DIY.
Honestly, like it was DIY for me because I just studied who I music I like. Like I didn't really have a real big homie. I just had like an uncle or just old heads that was around me that loved music, and they may have, told me about certain shit that they may have watched. They saw the Temptations movie, but most of these niggas just work jobs and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing wrong with them shout out to everybody gigging it, but I had the DIY. You know what I mean? Like, but my mind just told me to go deeper. So it just depends on what you learn and how you apply it. You know what I mean? So I just think I slowly just figured that out into a man. So you gotta figure life out. Good.
You good, Carl?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit straight.
Yeah, I'm good. It had a little breakup at the end. So with Strongway Lifestyle, you pretty much branched off into Strongway Radio.
Yeah,
Through Strongway Radio, you worked a lot within media. Even after that, even working within like actual radio, like
yeah.
AM things like that. So could you tell us the experience between the transition between the internet and FM?
Yeah, the band. And keep it a buck with you. I always wanted to. I've been applying for FM radio since like 2013, 2012. But you literally have to know someone, and just being 100. My ex girlfriend was already working there, so before I even like was trying to shoot my shot, like I was already asking her, you know what I mean? But she was curving me, and then later in the relationship, I brought it up again. She's like, "Oh, they is hiring," so she got me in there. And but like maybe like last year, like I stopped really working with because this is how it is. I'm explaining to you. So like first it was CBS Radio, and they owned 101.9, 106.5, Mix 106, and 104.3 HFS, right? So, but they all kind of worked in different under one station. So CBS Radio sold it to this company called Intercom. Now Intercom runs it now. So now we all can just work together. Because if I got hired through 119, I only work 119 events. But because Intercom took over, we all can just choose whichever event we want to work. But it still was kind of like divided. So me working with 1019, that was like, mid white women in their 40s. Like it's that crowd, it's those kind of events. You know what I mean? It's a park all the way out in like the boonies of the boonies, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but I switched to like Mix 106. I started doing like indoor skydiving and all that. So it's just like you just see how it's about what people listen to, what range it is, and how they respond and what bracket are they trying to make this advertising to. That's where like mainly Billboard is about too. Like people really give a fuck about Billboard, but Billboard is a magazine. That's all it is a magazine that counts sales for record companies. And people give a fuck about that, and it's like, yo, why do you give a fuck? Why? Because your label told you to?
Pretty much. I mean, that,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of sums it up. There's legit like fucking Twitter accounts or like IG accounts just to show charts, just
Mm-hmm.
for like pretty much pissing contests for like how much you did on certain songs or how much you did on certain albums and things like that. And
Yeah.
and that's kind of where like the biz is, where it's just like a pissing contest over things that's super minute and super like
Yeah, my nigga.
shit that just like flows easily,
All
especially
right.
in an age where everything is spam, everything is bot. You can legit make these numbers up and nobody would like bother to find receipts for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I wanted to hop back where you pretty much were working within like the radio station 101.
First it was 1019, then I started working with Mix 106.
Right. So with 101.9, you pretty much were in like literally no man's land, whereas though you didn't really relate to the
The
audience
events we were working, yeah.
epic and things like that. How was it working within that and knowing that like your root, your core was hip
Yeah.
hop?
Um, I knew that first having that on my resume and getting paid for it was the win. Period. Now,
Absolutely.
as far as like my interests, I'm a sponge no matter what. You know what I mean? So I always learn shit. That's why I got 20 big homies. So you know what I mean? Like, so I always learn shit. So I kind of learned about demographic, and some of the events were cool. Like some of the stuff, the events were cool, but it wasn't as it was. Um, but it wasn't that bad though. You know what I mean? Because I knew that even though hip hop may be my entry, it may not be my exit.
Mm, very true. I feel like within like those radio stations, it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
to learn about
Mm-hmm.
not just like the genre or anything like that, because it's not
Mm-hmm.
about the genre, but the business side of it. There's a lot to learn that you can
Yeah.
apply.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
what would you say that you applied to hip hop from learning from these stations?
I learned that that those rules are ancient. You feel me? Like, and it's okay because there are like 30 to 40-year-old white people that have 12 to 16-year-old daughters that buy CDs. So you can still do 100,000 the first week and your label ain't mad. So it's still a, what I mean, there's not that they may get a little taste of what's going on in the digital wave and do their thing, but they still can sell hard copies.
That's
In the hip hop world, now it's so genuine and authentic, but it's so fake and business ridden at the time that it's just a flow, and you gotta like be a flow, create a flow, and like ignore flow.
spoken like a
Yeah,
real. Uh, I have to give a quick shout out to everybody that's in alive right now, and
yeah,
huge shout out
definitely.
to like an actual
Right
solid
about that.
because like it's one thing to interview like rappers all the time and
Yeah.
a rapper that's really fucking redundant, and I hate asking the same. But to ask somebody that's within media, like all the info, all the know-how, all the
Mhm.
know about the shit that pretty much runs the business of what we love, it's very informative. So I do have to thank you for that.
That's love, bro. Yeah, I'm always like, I'm not. Like, one thing I want to say too is that even with the politics shifting, there's still like people within like our local scene that are like fake gatekeepers, and like they have the information, but the only way you'll get the information is if you get down with it. But it's nothing to really get down with. All you do is have relationships. You can still present some bullshit. Like the game I learned, I give it. Like what you do don't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I got the game, it's cool. I ain't gonna sell you the game. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. So that's one thing I feel like helps in the long run. Like you know what I mean? And it's just it's in the pudding. You know what I mean? You gotta give free game.
Absolutely. Now that we're on like the topic of gatekeepers, I
Hmm.
feel as though within the pretty much media that we're in,
Yeah.
it almost seems like there are more gatekeepers than there are people trying to get through the gate. Is that like
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah. You know why? Because you can do anything when you can do anything. The best customer is a nigga that's stupid. That's why they call him the general public. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I'll give you an example. Like Kanye didn't literally say slavery is a choice. He said whatever years of slavery sounds like a choice. But the only common phrase that people share in the general public is slavery is a choice. You dig what I'm saying? So like a nigga who don't know shit, you can sell him anything. And it ain't a good thing or a bad thing. It's business.
It's the business. That's all it really is. It's just the business side of it. And for a person
Mhm.
like even that high up to know
Yeah,
how the side is ran and kind of like preach down and tell us that that's pretty much the fucking biz.
yeah.
There should be some like know about or some lessons to be learned from that. But
Hmm.
as though the media that we work within is very skewing, it's very like what I'm saying, misleading and
Hmm.
errors. You're not going to get the full information. You're not
Yeah,
going to get the
I
full.
don't know. Yeah.
So within your experience, you don't have to drop names. This ain't the old fucking Vlad type of situation.
Mhm.
Like I always have to tell guests that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't even buy a fucking like Vlad TV, but like, has there, you good?
yeah. That shit is funny, my man.
No, that's cool. But like, has there ever been a situation where as though like that gatekeeper thing kind of went out at you with the work
Yeah,
that you
yeah, yeah,
do?
yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah, people I've like you probably seen me work publicly under or next to, or people you probably haven't seen me work publicly with. So it all happens, and it's gatekeeper shit, but like on the human level side, it's ego.
Mm,
So especially amongst black men, you know what I mean. So um, I know that me as an individual, like I have my own way of thinking. You know what I mean. I'm very of course observant and shit like that, but you know um I'm outspoken, you know what I mean? I don't really quote unquote fall in line. I play my role and I know what it is to play the team. But shit out of line or shit kind of morally seem trash or just don't move right, I don't have my speaking. And sometimes if uh dudes try to or people try to, use rank and act goofy, you know what I mean? I've never, been soft, but we don't promote violence or promote how many dudes can show up and how. No, it ain't about none of that. It's just about respect. But you have people that uh, don't really respect the individual. They just fuck with your resources or fuck with how smart you are. You know what I mean? Because smart people are green too. Like,
they
so
fuck with what you can do, but not who you are.
yeah, 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 absolutely. And that's business too. So you gotta learn to deal with that. You know what I mean? One of the best people and the people that always put me on and really gave me a lot of game was always Shay. Like I blew up for Shay for like 9 months. But like, Shay really put me on to like how to post, how to utilize shit. Like when I got with Shay, like she taught me about how to get my algorithm up, taught me how to move around and navigate. Cause I ain't had no car. Like I ain't had no car till like around the time I had the benefit for Corinne. But like this is early 2016 when I got with Shay. But she gave me a lot of game and we cool to this day. You know what I mean? Even like when I first was like when I kind of like around the time I stopped blogging for, we had a little small issue, but we talked about it like 2 weeks later and we've been solid ever since. Cause it's just the energy ain't goofy. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's I fuck with that. I fuck with long term respect and stuff like that. So she gets the most credit of who put me on. Like you know what I mean? That's all. That's great.
That's good. How is it learning from like a person like Shay, whereas though
Yeah.
like
hmm
aren't in the same necessarily field, but like you work within those same type of like
Yeah.
media like that.
Um, one thing Shay really taught me was how to develop your personality.
Mm,
Um, you know who you are as an individual. You know how people respond to you as an individual, but because we're in the digital age, you have to learn translation. She taught me the translation, and excuse me, everything was, some stuff wasn't, some stuff didn't need to get taught. Some stuff was great for me to learn. So you learn from teachers what you need and don't need. So um, she taught me basically translation. That was more thing. And honestly, like she a moving shaker and I'm a moving shaker as well. Like I understand about, I love what I write. I mainly wrote only about hip hop shit. Like, like I wrote like one of my favorite articles. I wrote about like the importance of Max B and stack bundles. Like, you know, like I wrote about, I think I wrote about like, I forgot. I think my first article was about the Beans versus Jada beef and who had the best diss record. I mean, like,
how
just
and for Carlito Freeze for his first article to be about beans is that's about as Carlito as it gets.
you did.
But continue.
Oh yeah, but yeah, so just like just being able to put what you love out there and being able to like build it up. And I saw how she built up Uncommon Realist, and I saw how she. I'm my bad. I remember when she first doing photography and first had the idea of it. We sat in the lab together when she was putting together the chart. So just to see what she building now was like it's amazing because that's the process. And like she a go getter. You know what I mean? She outworked niggas with more money than her, and she still hang with niggas who what I mean. Like she still show love to the real. So that's about as Baltimore as it can get. A motherfucker who really put on. That's G shit. You know what I mean? So I'm proud to, you know what I mean, say she really gave me the game, you know what I mean?
Huge shouts out to Shay, by the way, for all the work that she does, not just
Absolutely.
with like the city, but the work that she does with herself, with being a really really hands on and really developed like photographer within the city, like a
Mm-hmm.
name within photography within.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I want to shift gears real quick
Let's get
and
it.
about something that you've been doing for quite some time, which is called Rides with Freeze.
Woo!
With
You
Rides
did?
with Freeze, explain how this came about and the inspiration of it.
All right, so it was a period of time where I wasn't doing nothing, no media, no nothing. Personal time for me, about 10 months, no social media, no nothing. Around like summer 2019, shout out my dog Yeez, Tevin Washington. He in his live. Man, I chatted with him. I was like, yo, I think I'm gonna do like a car show, a visual podcast called Rise of. Like, no. I had like two ideas, and I said, yo, should it be like Rise of Freeze or Rise and Vibes of Freeze? Something that was, I don't know. But he was like, it should be called Rise of Freeze. So I slowly put together the play. Just learned to slowly edit my own videos off the iPhone. Just learn little things I need. I already had my whip, so I I still had my connections, even though I was out the game for like a year or so. I still had my connections, of course. But I was like, all right, cool. I know I blueprinted it. Like I write all my shit down. Well, not write. I type it all down and what I wanted to do and the segments and the ideas. So October 8th, October 10th, 2019, I just took off. My dog Waleed, we had a segment for the show Power called Power Moves. Um, my dog O Dog, my dog Twan, we got a show. We had the show called We Ain't Named the Show yet because we ain't named it yet. But we got a name now when we do our thing. But we had something where we talk about battle rap, talk about rap shit, talk about life. And then slowly was doing like little interviews and stuff. But maybe like November, I really started to take off. I interviewed Sade Bowman and like I view Lamontre Randall. We know him up city as Boosie, and that shit really like went for me. And I think like I did those back to back, and I did Josh and Slick and Shine, and then like the next week I interviewed you remember the kid Hampton from City Petty Betty shit comedian, and I
Yeah,
interviewed Noe who used to be with
legend.
Bird Gang.
Yeah, the legend.
Yeah, and I interviewed Noe who used to be with Bird Gang, like in the same day. So I always wanted to talk to him. I've been a fan since back then. Like I got the Bird Gang album.
I'm pretty sure you do. That's why I like huge for you. Like, how is it interviewing like one of your like heroes or stars that you've always grew up on?
I ain't even need to prepare, bro. Like off the
I'm
rip,
pretty sure.
like
I'm pretty sure it was one of those interviews where it's like, I already know what to ask you. I didn't write down anything. It's
yep.
like, it's the information that I need.
Yeah, and he rocked with my energy, you know what I mean? Because and I'm competitive, you know what I mean? So I saw he did an interview on like a internet radio show, and they asked him about like 6ix9ine, and only reason because Mel Matrix got locked up, and Mel Matrix was Bird Gang. So I'm like, yo, like this is fucking media reach. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are you asking him about 6ix9ine? Like, what the like? Who asks him about 6ix9ine? Like, he has nothing to do with 6ix9ine. So like I'm looking like, nah, nigga, like nah, this nigga needs to be recognized for like what he did in Baltimore, tried to do, and just his time in the game. He gave me some of the best advice that I could always like take with me that I passed out to niggas I'm about to drop right now. When you get into this industry for whatever you do, Swayze TV can get a deal with Revolt, whatever. Swayze TV can be its own Roku stick. I believe in what you're doing. Niggas say when you get into this industry, do not be happy to be there. Like you gotta keep the
Happy to
same
be
vibe.
not no offense. It's just that like
Yeah.
91 episodes in, you kind of get tired of this shit.
Yep.
So eventually, you learn to like just see for the road ahead of it, and not
Yeah.
like sit in and be happy at a plastic chair where you see a golden throne. It's all about the next level. It's just that
Absolutely.
like honestly, like I would love to do that. It's just that like the ride on the way there is a pain in the fucking ass. So I have the
Mm-hmm.
patience to sit here and just like, what I'm saying, build this shit up, spend this
Yeah.
money, outreach. I'm a huge fucking introvert. So
Mm-hmm.
even having legitimately 5 days out the week of having a conversation with people 5 days out the fucking week is a lot of fucking energy. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that. That's for tomorrow's episode of Inside. We're dealing with today's episode of Inside the Rapper Studio, which is the wonderful guest of Karlito Free. And
God.
thank you to me. One of the questions that I really have to ask you is about the integrity of media. You spoke on the Mel Matrix thing with NOE. How do you feel though media is going towards this TMZ or already in this TMZ era of whereas though it's just all tabloid, all shock value, and like what you really need to know?
It's not like the Wendy Williams, Howard Stern era. It's like it's different. It's not it's not Wendy Williams, it's not Howard Stern, it's not this one shock media, and everyone can flock to that. Everyone can be that now, and it's damn near part of routine. You know what I mean? So they actually need people that are critical of celebrities. They need people that actually don't give a fuck about celebrities, like people that aren't respectful, because it brings in more views, it brings more XYZ. That's why academics like changed his pitch when he got with Everyday Struggle. Like I used to fuck with academics in 2015. Like I found about him and Casino at the same time. Like, and I be enjoying their shit because they know the business, and I be laughing at them niggas. I like laughing. So like, but academics knew the game. Like even though he's doing that Chirac shit, which wasn't cool. Rest in peace to all the fallen soldiers. But he really like knew the game. So I fuck with him. But once like we saw his fat ass on like on YouTube, that nigga switched up, yo. And he carved in a new era as well. He carved in a new era. You know what I mean? He really did. And I can go only give hats off to him because I respect Star. So if I respect Star and I fuck with Queen's Flip, I gotta respect Act. You know what I mean? Like this is what it is.
How do you feel as though like it kind of turned towards, or I guess what shifted that energy towards having type of media around? Because it never was really like this, whereas though
Yeah.
are legitimately trying to do some shock value shit just to
Yeah.
get noticed. So where did it all start in your eyes?
It started. I can say. I know you remember the '09 blogger era and like '07 when YouTube came to prominence. It started for the underground niggas. It slowly started when like the Breakfast Club and Hot 97 went digital. Now you can promote the brand and the interview. So back then the brand was the brand and people fuck with whoever went up there. But now people can flock to the brand more and get everything else. So I think now once the media started branding itself and spending more money advertising the brand, that's when it was like, oh, okay, like, this is how we can do it. So now you have people who do media promoting themselves. It's like you promote yourself when you promote your interview. I mean, this is why Charlamagne can go solo. You know what I mean? This is why he can write a book. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like now they're like just as annoying as rappers. Like people try to throw shade at rappers, but people don't understand there are more successful rappers than there are successful media people.
Plain and simple. It's one of those like gets at you, whereas though like anybody can have a hand in their pot and they can come out with a lot of food. Whereas though not most people weren't even allowed in the fucking kitchen. You know, people kind of just stood their way in. You had to stand in line. You had to get a plate, make somebody else a plate for when you brought in. But whereas though it's just a fucking free for all, and the people that actually are hungry wind up don't eating at all.
Absolutely.
And it feels though it's
Absolutely.
one of those things really detrimental to what's going on
Yeah.
because you have to worry about the next gen with any generation when you're in, whether it's the generation that we're in now or the generation that was before us. Next. And I feel as though when it comes to the next gen, they don't really think of the next gen, I guess, from where they are right now. Because, like, kids shit. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much people that were in our positions back in high school, you know, that were up to these people that, like, had to get a certain brand off of these people, they would see these things and then imitate these things. It's actually trying to find some type of, like, value within like the work that you do yourself and pretty much try to promote that, but now there's no promotion of individuality.
No artist development, none of that shit.
Do you feel as though that's pretty much a product of the environment that we're in, or is it just something that's more deeply rooted within the culture?
It's a little bit of both. The culture dictates what happens. You know what I mean? And whether it's the actual hood itself, and then the music from the hood, or people this or fashion or whatever, it all starts with the culture. So, um, there's still room for everything. Like I love Moneybagg Yo, but I love Benny the Butcher. But guess what? I'm human for that, and I still love Rick Ross. I still love Tupac. I still love Ghostface Killer, Pretty Tony album. You know, I still get in those zones. So with you got to balance yourself as a fan, and that's how you're able to
And
like
that
receive different music. And then me receiving different music now, I'm helping these niggas on their streams. That's I fuck with Title. Title is paying these artists, so it's like shit. Cause not even cause I want to do it or I do it. It's because like yo, like these niggas are changing our lives with the content they create. Like they can't get pennies on the penny of the penny of the dollar. The fuck, that shit ain't right. So you know,
And that's kind of how they set it up. Running out of time just a tad bit. The
mm-hmm.
last question I wanted to ask you is: one, is radio dying? Two, will you show up to the funeral?
Yeah, radio's dying, but as long as you got, as long as you got white people like paying, you know, as long as you got white people that like your music, radio will still be here. XM radio isn't going anywhere. Satellite radio really isn't going anywhere. It's really a good choice for people that can enjoy it. Like my car has XM. Like I know, you know, been in other cars that got XM. XM ain't really going nowhere, but FM, yeah. And I'm going to the funeral. You know what I'm saying? That should change my life. I was not, yo. It was 99. You know, I don't know if you remember back in '99, they had 99.5 and 102.7. They played all the top 40 hip hop. So you want to hear Shake It Fast? You want to hear Big Pimpin' more than the rap stations? You can go on 99.5. You can go over there. You dig? So shit, I'm going to the funeral. I might speak. But bro, I'm speaking.
Oh man, always a good time speaking to you, man. Always a
I
good time.
appreciate you, big dog. Definitely,
I
man. I
know
got yeah.
years since, like, you know what I'm saying, walking off and separations and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Absolutely.
I really do appreciate all the work that you have done, not
Absolutely.
just within the studio, but
Mm-hmm.
with outside of the studio. So I
Absolutely.
have to give you your roses and your thanks and your
I
appreciations.
appreciate it, man. Nah, I appreciate you guys, man. I think you know, like, you know, God puts you in a place to come across individuals that's genuine and like minded. So sometimes, like, you can walk the same journey just to come across the street, and that's why, like, when I came to your party, your house that night for that party, because you know, Track my guy since 2013, but I knew Kay because we met at that time when we all went bowling. So I'm like, oh shit, I seen Vaughn. I'm like, oh, all right, shout out to Vaughn. I'm like, the first thing you said was, "Welcome to my house." I was like, yo.
Because I wasn't expecting you. I'm like, oh, well.
I said, yo, I'm comfortable. I'm
You
gonna
know,
cancel the next move.
all right, that's cool.
But it was love, you know what I mean? I see y'all busy and hustling, you know, and Ben always been my guy, you know what I'm saying? We broke bread on the Super Nintendo, so and I bought a beat from. So, you know, it's always genuine love. So that's just how it is. We all gotta grind, you know what I mean? So it's love, bro.
Absolutely, man. Huge shouts out to everything and all the shit that you do. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my fit. I try to do those like throwback interviews, whereas I know somebody
Yeah,
from a time ago. I did that with
yeah.
Malcolm. His name is Malui now. He's a singer, and I did
Okay.
that. It was really cool. Like, I think you
That's
should check
cool.
it out too. Like, and now that I have this interview too, like I'm slowly but surely tacking up
I
all my
appreciate it. Yeah,
so
I appreciate being on the catalog, big dog.
don't even sweat it, man. Do you have any last words, any last promotions, any
Yeah.
last propaganda for the people?
Oh man, definitely. You know, shout out to Swayze TV inside the Rapper Studio. You know what I mean? This is like the Griselda of this media shit. You getting the wrestling, you getting the lights, you getting the shades, you getting the energy, you getting the robes, you getting the hard logo. You know what I mean? That's definitely that's what's going on. That's the Griselda vibe. You know what I mean? You give me that West Side Gun energy. I fuck with that shit. That's foremost and first. You under dig. Second, you know what I'm saying? Like, um, I got some fire music coming. I got some 2 fire joints I'm about to drop. I'm gonna send them to you first, big dog. That's on Mamas. I'm gonna send them to you first. You know what I mean? When they mastered and ready, I'm gonna send them to you first. I might give you the album cover to drop that first too. You know what I'm saying?
God, Bro,
Yeah.
let me buy it. Shit.
Yo, I mean, we do all that later, but listen, I got hundreds of songs, bro. Like that time I took off, I was working on music. Shout out my big dog Dre, because Dre got me back into really, really wanting to make music again. Cause I never stopped recording music. I do that shit like tying my shoe or brushing my teeth. So I never stopped recording music, but actually loving it and wanting to like really put my story out there and so niggas can know. Yeah. So you can go stream Freeze hashtag, go stream Karlito Freeze music. If you listen to my songs in order, I'm telling a story. You know what I mean? Everything I'm dropping, it's like a story from fuck your struggle to whatever. It's just a story. I'm telling my story for the rest of the music. You know what I mean? So much love, big dog. I promise you, go listen. When these shit's done, you getting it first. You getting the songs first. You get to drop the single first. That's all mama. You underdig? Much love.
I appreciate that. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
we gotta stick together in this media shit, bro. Like that's what I put that post the other day. Not the other day, a couple months ago. It was me. You know, I was hosting a New Rule event. Chink Jones was in the shoot. Sean Style was in the shoot. Like my name Barry was in that bitch. Like we all gotta stick together. We the new generation of this shit because the other niggas fumbled the ball. Ain't no more internet radio running shit. Ain't none of that. Shout to 1500, but I'm competitive. Nah, we ain't no internet. Nah, we the shit. We the wave. You know what I mean? So anybody that's doing anything that's like really building the shit, yo, we moving, we hustling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Huge shouts out to everybody that's been in this live, whether it's
Shout out
one
to everybody
second,
in.
one our show. Huge shouts out to IG for not fucking up.
Hey,
I was expecting to see but they acted up this time
yeah,
around, so I actually have to thank you guys seriously.
much love.
Coming on Inside the Rapper Studio tomorrow, it will be the State of the Studio. It's like State
Mm.
of the Union, but Inside the Rapper Studio. Phone's dying. Basically giving a studio, pretty much addressing the history of Inside the Rapper Studio, where I'm at with it right now, and the future moving forward with the show.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, everybody can get there. It's gonna be kind of boring. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean,
You gotta get this info in this game. That's why you gotta save all your shit. Save your
that's all,
catalog. You know what I mean?
it's fucking information. Like next week's the last week for the season, so I had to
You
fit
already
some
know.
for like what I'm saying, getting the information of what's going on with the show.
And
So
my bad. I ain't real quick. Shout out to everybody that fuck with me. That's in the live. Shout out to Jill. Shout out to James. Shout out to Ike. Shout out to Yeez. I forgot who else said I fuck up, but they always support me, stream my music and all that. So I gotta shout everybody to fuck my music out. Even when we get big out this motherfucker, I got shout out everybody. That's all love though. Appreciate you.
absolutely, from your host of Score Swayze and our wonderful guests of episode 91, Karlito Freeze. Once
You
again, thank you
dig?
very much. I'd like to tell everybody, as always, thank you. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay in the house.
You dig?
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, big dog. Much love.